I made this trellis structure by using these 2x3 kiln dried boards. They can be a bit rough, so you kind of have to sand them before you do anything with them. I found that getting some primer on them and getting some sealer on them while they're all together before you start working with them really saves you a lot of time in the end. I mark how high I want the boards to be or how high I want the trellis to be, and I start cutting. Once the sides are cut, I mount one screw and I check the level for each side, then mount the second. I check the level for the top board, and it's going to be a bit off because I leveled it to the ground. I like to pre-drill these holes before I add the screws because the 2x3s tend to tear up towards the edge. With that excess on the top, I just cut it off with a saw. For my side supports, I kind of like the angle of the 45, aesthetically, so I'm cutting those. I line up my sides, I get those mounted. I kind of want to make the trellis an opposite shape from what I've seen a lot of people do, just to see how it works with the sun angle here. And I've got some measuring to do with triangles. Fortunately, there's a theorem that can help us out here if we remember math class. So what we have our middle length established. We know we have a right triangle we're dealing with, and we know the length of the top. So we have to use this theorem here, and we get our missing side of 76 3/8 inch. We arc sine the opposite of the hypotenuse, and we get 19.5 degrees at the bottom, which is kind of a weird angle to cut at. To do so, you kind of have to feed it in this way, which I don't recommend. I was just committed to doing it at this point. Tack my sides together. I add my cutoff pieces in the middle to give myself a little more meat to let these screws have something to really grip into. I add it to the edge of the bed here. And this is what I have so far. This is what it's looking like. And it's looking pretty good. I go ahead and take my excess off the top with that rigid saw. I mount some corner supports. I get those screwed in flush, and I touch up all the cut sides on the top with sealer. You don't need to caulk the top of this, but I do just to try to keep that water out. I drill about every 8 inches here, and I add these eyelet hooks. They work really well, and they go in pretty easily. Once those are tightened, I start running my string. I use this nylon cord. I use a 2/2 hitch knot here, and you can use a tension knot on this side if you want, or a 2/2 hitch. It doesn't really matter. For the top, again, I do a 2/2 hitch, and then I start going into the clove hitch, going down these runners. It seems to hold it pretty secure, and it's really easy to do. At first, you'll be pretty slow at it, but by the time you do a bed, you'll have gotten it down. Once I get to the end, I finish it off with another double half hitch, and I anchor it to a plant stake into the ground to keep everything steady and keep everything tight. Once it's done, it looks pretty nice. It came out pretty good. I'm excited to see if these beds actually work, so I'll keep you posted. Thanks for watching.